This is Embrosewyn Tazkuvel. I want to introduce a series of videos that we're going to be posting on the Esoteric Mystery School. And these are old recordings from 1996 of when I first began channeling many different beings. But primarily we're going to be posting videos of Philos. Now in 1995 I first began channeling Philos. This was a very big surprise to me. I grew up as a very science-minded person. My studies in college were in geology and geophysics, and I always thought that anybody who believed in channeling had rocks for their brains. Even though I had lots of psychic abilities in my life, the concept of channeling some higher being somewhere and being able to get communication from them just seemed too far-fetched to me. And yet in the fall of 1995, I was experiencing some challenges in my life that I had never experienced before, anything like it. And I was open to getting a lot of suggestions. I went for the very first time to see different people who had psychic abilities or anybody who might give me some insight into how I could solve my problems. Nobody could. And after 3 months of trying to find answers to my challenges, unsuccessfully, I was desperate enough that one night, and that happened to be, I didn't know at the time, but it happened to be the winter solstice of 1995, I sat at my desk all alone and I said, if there are any higher beings out there who have any information that would be of help and benefit to me, this is your time to come in and tell me in some way that I can understand. And immediately I said something in my voice with full consciousness. It said, "Hello, I'm Embrosewyn and I can help you." I said, why did I say that? To me, I was just talking to myself at that point, but at the same time, why did I say that? It was very odd. And so I just tentatively said, kind of pretending, okay, Embrosewyn, and so who are you? And then Embrosewyn answered, but he was answering in my voice. I was fully conscious of the words being said. So again, I was thinking, I'm just making this up in my delusional state of desperation. But then I kept asking questions. I have a little recorder, so I was going to start recording this. So I started recording, and the interesting thing was, as I continued to ask questions about Embrosewyn and about my situation, the voice of Embrosewyn began to change. Still coming through my voice, still 100% cognizant and clear of what was going on in my mind, but the accent began to change. And then I found that my consciousness began to back up a little bit. I was still there, but it was a little bit more foggy. By the end of the tape, which was only about 10 or 15 minutes long, the voice of Embrosewyn had developed quite a strong accent. And my consciousness was still there, but not as strongly as it had been at the beginning. Now, one of the things that Embrosewyn told me, was that there was someone else that I needed to meet. He told me, first of all, that his purpose, his stewardship, Embrosewyn's, was to help people who were channeling for the first time to be able to do it. But he said there was someone who I had had a relationship with for a long time. His name was Philos, and I needed to meet Philos and talk to Philos. So the next day, I went out to the lake with my dear friend Skylani. She had a recorder, and she had a long list of questions to ask. And I began again. She began talking. I invited Embrosewyn to come on in and talk through me if he liked. He came in right away with his stronger accent, and right away we wanted to know some answers. And after just like 5 minutes, he says, well, let Philos answer for you. So Philos, I invited him to come in. And a totally wonderful being came in, who was a very good friend. But what was interesting is, immediately we noticed the difference between his personality and Embrosewyn's personality. His voice and accent and Embrosewyn's voice and accent. They were quite different. And very quickly, as I was channeling Philos, I went into a full trance where I had no conscious memory of anything that was said or done, and a full body channeling, where Philos had full movement of my body. He could do whatever he wanted with it, but in this case I was just sitting in the Jeep. And Sky asked many questions, and over a period of an hour we got many answers. And that was the beginning of channeling Philos. Now in the summer of 1996, after having spoken to Philos many times, probably almost, I don't know, at least 50 times, and many other galactics as well, higher energy beings that were called galactics, there were 396 members of an organization called Cool, which was a higher being organization. Each one had specialties to help people. Philos' specialty was Celestine Vibronics, but he had a special connection to me because of experiences we had experienced well before I ever came to this planet. In the summer of 1996, Philos told us that he would like to start speaking to the public. So my fiancée Samara and my good friends Skylani and myself, we went to the local co-op. We were able to rent a large room where we could hold public gatherings. And so once a week for the next several months, Philos spoke to the general public. And each week he would have a talk that he had his own topics that he wanted to talk about. Usually just one topic, but sometimes two or three. And that would generally take about a half hour. At the end of that period, he would open it up to general questions from the audience, and he answered a wide variety of questions that people wanted to ask. It could be about the topics he had been speaking about, or something completely different. So this is an introduction to the videos that we're going to be posting now on YouTube in the coming months, are some of these old talks. Now, please be kind. These are very old videos that were filmed in 1996 on a videotape player or videotape camera, and their quality is very low, both the audio and the sound, so please give that some account. Also, Philos has a very strong accent. It's kind of like a Scottish accent, and it's a little bit difficult to understand sometimes. So when you first start listening to him, listen closely, and you'll be able, as you continue to listen, his accent will become easier and easier for you to understand. All right, enjoy. Namaste.